Okay, just get yourself ready for your morning practice. So sit on a lift and then come into a good cross-legged position and just find your levelness. So you have to excuse the bright sunshine. Well, let's not excuse the bright sunshine, let's embrace the bright sunshine, although you can't see anything. Anyway, hold onto your knees, lift up into the heart area and draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just look down at the floor and take deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Fill in the lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Fill in your lungs from the bottom to the top and emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Keeping your eyes still in the sockets, softening your jaw, by drawing the lower teeth away from the upper teeth, softening the tongue, softening and relaxing the teeth. Yes, I did say relaxing the teeth. Relax the gums around the teeth and acknowledge how much tension we hold in the gums. So relax the teeth. Bring your hands into Namaste, press the palms firmly together. And then gently, with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Listening to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Just allow yourself to draw your thoughts into the breath. Draw your focus into the sound of the breath and the feeling of the breath as you inhale, expanding the chest, broadening the chest, and as you exhale, relaxing the chest. So draw your focus in towards the action of the breath. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Lift your chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area as you release your hands down toward your knees. Bring the palms to face upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger in contact with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom, of physical intelligence, and of peacefulness that we can carry into our practice as an intention. Wisdom, physical intelligence, and peacefulness. Just raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open. And then hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area upwards. Take a deep inhalation. And then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across, your ribs and your shoulders. Using your out breath to intensify the turn. Just turning the shoulders rather than the head, just letting the head look forwards, drawing the shoulders and the ribs and the abdomen across to the right. Gently come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Elevating the heart area as high to the ceiling as you can, and then maintaining that lift. Turn to the left. Working with peacefulness for the physical body. So observing where there is resistance and acknowledging that resistance. Then drawing your focus beyond that initial resistance into areas of the body that present little or no resistance. And then acknowledge how that changes your perception of the initial resistance. Come back to the center. Come off your lift and then just come into, sit back on your heels, big toes together, knees apart, and then come forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana. So sitting down on your heels, keep the heels connected to the ground, and then come forwards, stretching forwards. Keeping the heart area lifted initially, keeping the heart area lifted all the way through, but especially at the beginning, bring the forehead down, lengthen the tailbone down toward your heel. Just listen to the sound of your inhalation and exhalation. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. come up onto your knees, turn your toes under, and then come up into dog down. So dandasana if you're not doing dog down, extending into the legs, lifting up into the chest. And then step your feet forwards if you're in dog down, come up into standing position, and then get blocks for your hands. And then bring your feet as wide apart as the mat. There you go, the light has cleared, the fogginess has cleared. And we're back in the room. So have your feet as wide apart as the mat, and then align the edge of your feet with the edge of the mat so that your big toes are turning inwards slightly. Have your hands on your hips, lift up into the chest, straighten the legs, hinge at the hips, and then reach down, find the blocks. Just bring the blocks directly underneath the shoulders and work to lift the shins, lift the kneecaps, lift the thighs all the way up to the fronts of the legs, all the way up to the top of the legs. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards so that you can elevate the tailbone and the seat bones up towards the ceiling, projecting the chin and the chest forwards. Just feel where your body is today. Feel how the pose feels in your body space this morning. If you can go down lower, then do. If you've got a bad back, then stay at the higher lift. So I've had a bit of a twingy back over the last half a week. It's not too bad so far, thankfully. Let's hope it stays that way. But I'm kind of resisting going down because it does sometimes aggravate my back when I go down too low. But if you can reach down to the floor, then do. If you can reach around the backs of the heels, drawing the body inwards with a straight back, with a straight lifted chest, then do. But otherwise, just find where your body feels right. Just listen to the body. Okay, everyone just extend back into the chest. Bring your hands into your hips. Bend your knees on the way up if you need to, and then come up into your standing position. Just move the blocks and then come into Tadasana. Inner edge of the feet together, lifting up into the chest. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Activating your kneecaps, pressing the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, but bringing weight onto the outside edge of your feet consciously. Lifting up into the heart area. And then raise your arms forward, spread the fingers, spread the palms without disturbing the action of the legs. And then raise your arms over your head. I have to kind of adjust a little to give me space. So vrksasana, just lifting out of the feet, up into the chest, up up into the arms, rotating the upper arms in the sockets a little so that the palms face each other. Try and encourage the thumb side of the hands to move apart, the little finger side of the hands to move together. Ideally they're kind of just facing each other, but you can continue to rotate those arms just so that you bring energy into the arm. And then release. Just release your arms down. So we can do vrksasana, the tree pose. So you might want something to help you to kind of balance nearby. You could use the back of a chair, or you can do this by a wall, or you can do it in the middle of the room, whichever feels most right for you this morning. Spread the toes of the left foot. If you can, pull your shorts up a little on that left leg, then do. Helps to kind of bring level connection. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, tighten the kneecaps, activating the thighs. Keep that left leg firmly in Tadasana, and then bring the right foot as high up into the groin as you can, up into the top of the leg as you can. And then push the foot into the thigh, push the outer thigh into the inner thigh, into the foot. And then just initially lift the heart area, stretching your arms down, just finding your equilibrium. Lengthen from the hip into the knee, and then lengthen from the inner groin into the inner knee. Just feel behind you that the hips are level. And then raise your arms. I have to connect my hands together because of the C length, but vrksasana arms ideally. Action in your arms in the same way as you were in vrksasana. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just look at something that doesn't move. Just something that brings quietness and levelness. Okay, release your arms, release the leg, and then come back to the centre. Just raise the shorts on your other leg if you can, and then come back into Tadasana. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Tightening the kneecaps, hit the thigh firmly into the bone, lift the thigh all the way up towards the top of the leg. Keep that standing leg straight, and then bring the left foot as high up into the thigh as you can, all the way up towards the groin. Push the foot into the thigh, push the thigh firmly into the foot, suck the outer thigh inwards. It brings real stability. Just have your hands on your hips, just feel that they are level, lengthen from the hip into the knee, and from the inner groin into the inner knee. Just feel that the hips are level behind you, and then raise your arms. Vrksasana arms ideally. Reach up to the ceiling, reach up to the sky. So it's the tree pose, growing up towards the source of universal energy on the planet, raising up towards the sun. Listening to the breath, keeping your eyes still, just looking at something that doesn't move, just to bring you stability. Reaching up, feeling that the direction of the pose is up. Okay, release your arms, release the leg, and then just come back into Tadasana. Just come back into Tadasana, just let the previous pose go. So however that went, it doesn't matter. If you found that you lost your balance, then that's just how it was today. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Bring your arms out nice and wide. Spread the fingers, spread the palms. Bring the arms in towards the chest, and then step or jump your feet wide. Turn your left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out, and then face the front, lift up into the chest. Keep the legs nice and straight, and then find your shin, lift up towards the ceiling. Viparita trikonasana. Keep the legs really firm, firmly activating that back leg as well as the right leg, the front leg. Feel that the big toe presses down on that front foot, but keep the thigh and the shin turning from the big toe side to the little toe side. Reach up, come back to the center, swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. Just turning this leg from the big toe side to the little toe side. Do the same with the back leg. Bring the chest to face the front, and then reach over. Just feel how the pose feels for you today. Listen to the breath. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. And then reach up, come back to the center, bring the feet parallel, and then step or jump. Feet back together, come back up into Tadasana. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just allow your breath to return to normal. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump, go wide. If you can, bring your feet to the back edge, your heels to the back edge of your mat, then that just helps you to know that they're in line. So wide feet. Prasarita, padottanasana, so as wide as your legs can go. Turn the left toes in, and then straighten the legs. Lift up into the chest. And then hinge at the hips, keeping the legs really straight, hinge at the hips, keeping the chest lifted, keeping the head lifted, the heart lifted. If you struggle to reach the floor, then use blocks underneath your hands. But however you connect to the ground, be on fingertips rather than the heels of the hands. Press the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs, the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs, the fronts of the knees through to the backs of the knees, the fronts of the shins through to the calf muscles. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards like you would for Tadasana. Extend the chin and the chest forwards. Breathe in and out through the nose if you can. So you might want to stay at this stage, just working to stretch out the legs, or Andrew, stay at this stage. Don't bring your head lower than your heart. Otherwise, you can bend at the hips. Keep the back straight. And then bring the heels of your hands in line with the heels of the feet. And then bring the head down onto the floor. Or use a block underneath your head if it doesn't reach. Or maybe go a little bit wider if you can't reach. Lengthen the shoulders away from the ears, whether you're in the second stage or the first. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Stretching the legs, pushing the fronts of the legs through to the backs. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards, lifting the seat bones, lifting the tailbone away from the floor, up to the ceiling. Okay, come back to the center stage. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. And then bring the heels of the hands down. And then bend your knees. Walk your toes in or step or jump your feet back together. And then come back up into a standing position, back into Tadasana. Lift up into the chest. Raise your arms up in vrksasana, raising the arms up, rotating the upper arms in the sockets. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Okay, and then release your arms and then come down onto your back and down into supta padottanasana. So pull the feet in towards the seat bones, let the knees fall out to the sides, reaching down to the floor. If there's stiffness in your hips, then you can put some blocks. Support the blocks, support the thighs with the blocks. Otherwise, just let gravity open up the front of the hip. So breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Raise your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, squeeze the outer elbows in, and then extend your arms along the floor. So if there's any stiffness in your shoulders, then you can put a folded blanket underneath the hands, or you could use some blocks underneath the hands just to support the shoulders. Otherwise, just using the floor. Just stretching the body out along the floor. Push the heels consciously together. Push the outside edge of the feet consciously together. Turn the tailbone in and up towards the ceiling, so that your lumbar presses down into the floor. Lengthen from the hips into the armpits, into the elbows, into the wrists, into the palms, into the fingertips. Just filling the lungs with positive energy. So the energy of the universe that surrounds us becomes part of the body. We are a part of the world's ecosystem. We take in oxygen and we return carbon dioxide. And while carbon dioxide gets a bad rap in terms of the climate, it's really essential because plants feed, they take in carbon dioxide and they return oxygen. So we live in perfect harmony with the plants that surround us. Raise your arms, just swap the interlock of the fingers. So have the other index finger on the top of the stack, the fingers on the outsides of the hands. But this time I want you to really consider lengthening the fingers towards the opposite wrist. So you're lengthening your fingers and you're trying to touch the wrist of the other hand. So see if you can really work those fingers lengthening into the back of the wrist. And then turn those palms outwards, keep lengthening those fingers. And then again lengthening your arms along the floor. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then gently release your arms, bring your hand, just release the fingers and then rest your hands on your lower ribs. Just observing the energy in your shoulders and in your hands. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then draw your knees towards each other. Have the knees together and the feet apart. Just rest in the hips. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from top to bottom, from side to side, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then just place the feet close to the seat bones again. So have the feet as wide apart as the seat bones. And then draw the right knee in towards the chest. Just pull the right knee in towards the chest, flexing that right heel, keeping the left foot where it is. And then cross the right foot across the top of the left thigh. Try and bring the heel, if you can, into the inner pelvic bone. Hold on to that right foot with your left hand, and then just encourage that right knee to lengthen away from the body as much as you can. Just stretching out the front of the hip. And then just relax that knee, just let it kind of soften and relax for a moment. And then draw your left knee in towards your chest, grip around the back of the left knee, and then draw that left knee in towards the chest. Supta kapotasana, the reclining pigeon pose. So draw that left knee closely in towards the chest, feeling the glutes and the backs of the hamstrings stretch on that right side. So if the foot was in at the pelvis, then just bring it up a little, reach back, and then draw the left knee back in towards the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath, just stretching out. Those hamstrings. And then gently release, bring the left foot down to the floor, release the right foot, and then just come back down onto the floor. Pull the left knee in towards the chest, leave the right foot where it is. Pull the left knee into the chest, flexing the heel. And then bring that left foot across the top of the right thigh. Hold onto that left foot with your right hand, and then again encourage that left knee to draw away from the body. Just be gentle with your knee if there's any problems. Okay, and then just release, just let that knee soften and just come back to its kind of natural position. And then pull the right knee in towards the chest, grip around the back of the right knee, and then draw that right knee in towards the chest. So ideally the foot is in the heel is in the pelvic region. Just bring that foot anywhere along that top thigh. Pull the knee in towards the chest. Lengthen the tailbone down to the floor. Just release. Just move the foot up if it was in the pelvic region, and then come back into the pose, pulling that left knee in towards the chest. Just feeling the hamstring stretching out, glute muscle stretching out. And then release. Just bring that right foot back to the floor, uncross the left foot, and then just pull your knees in towards your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then just hold the edges of the mat and lengthen the legs up to the ceiling in viparita karanhi. So stretching the legs towards the ceiling. So to just observe how this makes you feel. If you feel a little breathless, then just bring your legs back down, but your heart and your head are in line with each other, so it should be okay. But just observe, listen to the breath. Lengthen the legs to the ceiling, turn the fronts of the shins inwards, the fronts of the thighs inwards. So viparita karanhi. So don't stay with your legs in the air for too long, Andrew. Just a brief inversion for you. So you can go back into supta padottanasana. Otherwise, keeping the legs up in the air, just gently inverting the body. And then bend your knees, and then again bring the feet close to the seat bones, and then bring the feet together, bring the knees together, clamp the knees together, clamp the feet together. So we can do jathara parivartanasana. So you're going to keep the knees together, keep the feet together. Stretch your shoulders, stretch your arms out so that they're in line with your shoulders, palms facing upwards. Keep the knees together and then roll the knees over to the right side, keeping the feet clamped together, the knees clamped together, and then draw the abdomen across from the right to the left. And then look over that left shoulder. So keep the knees clamping together, keep the feet clamping together. Draw the abdomen from the right to the left. Look over that left shoulder. And then bring the knees back to the center. Keep them clamped together as you roll the knees over to the left side. You're not necessarily bringing the knees all the way to the floor. Turn the abdomen from the left to the right and look over the right shoulder. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. So the more you turn the abdomen away from the bent knees, the more of a supportive twist you get in the spine. And then bring the knees back to the center and just pull your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then just roll yourself up into a seated position. Get a folded blanket for your head. Just make sure that it feels even. And then just lay yourself down the center of the mat. Just make sure you're in a really good straight line. Just that make sure that the back of your neck is supported by the blanket, and then let the body release into the floor. Let the feet fall apart. Let the body become heavy on the ground. Release the muscles of the arms and the legs, unhooking them. Consciously unhooking the muscles so that the body becomes heavy on the floor. Out of that heaviness, perhaps you inevitably observe a feeling of energetic lightness that radiates from the bones and into the muscles, into the organs. Healing positive energy into the organs. Allowing that energy to radiate from the bones and into the muscles and into the organs and into the flesh and the skin. Use your in-breath and out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness evenly down into the toes and into the tips of the fingers and all the way up into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bring yourself back into this pose of Shavasana. And then bring your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then roll over onto your right side. And then straighten the top leg, come back up into a seated position, just a final cross legs with your hands in the masti, just a final spinal lift. Drawing your breath in through your nose down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends and the twists and the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you have created inside, and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy and given yourself good, positive energy